Hey guys, welcome back to UModeler. In this video, we're going to take a look at how to use the arc tool. All right, so to demonstrate the arc tool, let's go ahead and create a cube. So I'm going to go ahead and select our primitive shape box here, and I'll go ahead and create a cube here. Now, when you want to create an arc, in a lot of cases, there's many different ways to go about it. There's very manual ways to do it. So, for instance, what you would normally do is say, you could, I wouldn't say normally, but you could use the polyline tool and you could do something like this. And this would be a legitimate way to kind of create a shape that you're looking for. And you could theoretically do that, and it would create some type of shape or an arc that you may need. Another way to do that would be to use the bevel tool, right? So, say for instance, the first part, if we were creating an entrance here, the first part here is the entrance, but the second half up top is the arc. So, what we can do is take these two edges and we could go ahead and hit a bevel, and that would help create us an arc that could be useful. So that's one way to do it as well. And either way is completely fine. It just depends on what you're making and how you're going about it. But with the integration or the introduction, I would say, of the arc tool, we have other ways that we can approach it. So let's take a look at that. So what we can do is go in your drawing tools and you can select the tool arc. And what we can do is just simply click and drag right across here. And then as you click and drag, you can set the angle on this. Now, before you set the angle, what you would want to do is actually determine how many segments you have in the tool properties. So in this case, I have 10 segments. You also can have force close there as well. So that's useful. So what we can do with that now is you can take it and you can extrude it in and you can create some unique shapes there, and you can do like a inset there and do something like that by doing an extrude, and you can kind of move that around and you can just continue to model things out with this. So that's one way to go about it, and that's pretty useful, and that's great. Another use case with using the arc tool would be using it as a shape as opposed to on directly on a model. So for instance, what I mean by that is we would go ahead and go to the arc tool, and when we click, let's see, I will click here and I'm just going to click and drag and say I want about that distance. So now we can just actually create that arc there. And so now that that's created, I'm going to go ahead and do a pivot on this so that we can get everything right where we need it. Perfect. All right, and so now we can bring this up, and now we actually have a shape we can use. And now at this point, there's so many different use cases we can do with this. So for instance, I'm going to go ahead and rotate this guy around. And let's, for the sake of this, let's kind of not just show the arc tool, but kind of do a how-to. So what we can do is, how do we build a doorway with an arc? So we can go ahead and do it like this. I'm going to go ahead and bring this up about the height that I think I might need it. And what I can do is start building this. So let's see here. I'm going to go centered on there. Let's see if I can use the inset tool to create a couple things. And actually first, I'm going to click all the edges and I'm going to extrude this guy out just like so. And what I can do is, I'm not going to bridge it. Well, I can close it up as well. That could work just fine. But what I'll do is not do that. Let's go ahead and do this. So that works just fine. And I'll just go ahead and bring that down just a little bit. So that works just like that. And what I'll do now is go ahead and connect these edges down, because what I want to do is create kind of like some poles or some edges here. So we'll go ahead and use the knife tool and we'll cut there. And I'll cut there just like so. So that works pretty good. And just to be sure here, we can actually continue to cut underneath and we can cut under there as well. Perfect. All right. So now we have that. So what I can do is simply select these faces and I can extrude down. And so now we have a nice little entrance way using the arc tool. Pretty simple, but you can kind of build on this entrance way by doing this, bringing it in, and you can go in a little bit if you want, and you can kind of push it out some. It's pretty nice. That can be like a nice little glass window, whatever you may need. And we can take this a step further by maybe doing some loop cuts on the side here. I want these to kind of maybe serve as like some bricks that are lined up on the side. Of course, we don't have to do it this way, but just for the sake of this tutorial, we can kind of do it this way. And so this is going to be a set of bricks that kind of are at different heights. Awesome. And then I can just kind of reduce this here like so. And so we can kind of do something like this. Awesome. And there you have that. It's kind of cool. So now we have like a nice little entrance way for whatever visitor is visiting our small little cottage that is being built in the background. So that's pretty nice, right? And you can continue to build on this, of course, and add all types of finishes and edges and edge loops and all types of things. And we can go there. You can do some stylized work with this if we wanted to go and add the polyline tool and use some of the neat features of cutting out, like using the push-pull tool and kind of cutting that out, because the goal of this is actually to look like a brick or something like that. And so you want to make it kind of look like a cut, some type of like broken concrete or something of the nature there. And so you can kind of use that and it kind of gives you that feel, and then you can texture it as needed. So yeah, so that's one way to go about using the arc tool. I think it's pretty awesome and pretty useful, and you can use it in so many different ways. And yeah, so I hope that you guys can find that tool useful, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you all for watching. I hope you use the arc tool in fun and unique ways. Be sure to stay up to date with the latest features and updates by hitting the subscribe button and clicking the notification bell. More exciting content is coming, so you wouldn't want to miss out. See you soon.